Summer is just about here in the All-American City. Students are wrapping up the school year and many residents are going to be looking for ways to fill their time. On today's show, I'm going to be talking with Westland Youth Assistance Director Paul Motz about the Wild About Youth Works program that's going to help our young adults find jobs this summer. I'll also visit with Parks and Recreation Director Kyle Mulligan about some of the great events and activities going on in our park system. And speaking of parks, Westland Police Chief Jeff Jedrusik and his department have started a new police neighborhood safety program that meets with residents and businesses in parks all across Westland. And he's here today to tell us all about it. Summer jobs, summer fun, and summer safety. We're going to cover all that and more today. You're watching In the W. Hello everybody, I'm Mayor William Wild and welcome to our inside Studio W at City Hall, and you're watching In the W. So we have a great action-packed show today. We're actually going to start off with our Police Chief Jeff Jedrusik. He's here just in time because we're less than 30 days away from the 4th of July, so we're going to be talking about fireworks. He's just done a radar traffic study for the neighborhoods. He's going to talk a little bit more about that. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about this new program the Chief just kicked off. We actually had the first one of these this past week, and it's called the Neighborhood Safety Program. And Chief, welcome to In the W, and I thought it was a pretty good event. What do you think?
I think it was a great event, Mayor. I think these are going to be great for our community moving forward.
Well, let's talk about it. So this new program, the Neighborhood Safety Program, is a way for the police department to interact with the neighborhoods through your community policing initiatives, and we kicked off that program at Rotary Park. And Chief, why don't you talk a little bit about the program and what made you decide to go this route?
Well, exactly like you said, Mayor, it's a community policing initiative. The idea is that every neighborhood in the city of Westland has a little bit different concerns. Some neighborhoods might have concerns about traffic violations within the neighborhoods, or maybe there's been vandalism, or maybe there's been some thefts, or maybe even some drug problems or neighbor disputes. So the idea is that we want to focus specifically on neighborhoods and meet specifically and directly with the people that live in those neighborhoods to talk about their concerns. What we're going to do is we're going to start focusing on all our different neighborhoods throughout the rest of the year, and hopefully we continue to do this in the future as we move on. But we're going to bring some data, some crime statistics for each neighborhood, so we can talk to the residents about what's been taking place in their neighborhood, maybe give them some tips on how to help keep their neighborhood safe too. And another great piece of it is that it allows the neighbors to get to know each other and get to know the police officers, because essentially working with each other and working with the police officers is how we keep our neighborhoods safe.
Yeah, and I think that's a great idea because I know we feel a lot of calls, I know you do too, on neighborhood disputes. And a lot of times it's just the communication goes a long way. So with your officers there kind of acting as an intermediary, yeah. That's a tough word to say, but we can solve a lot of those problems. And Chief, Rotary Park is right behind Stottlemyre Elementary School, and I thought it was a great first day. And what did your officers think?
Well, it was great. What we did is we kind of focused on the neighborhoods between Marquette and Cherry Hill and from Wayne Road to Radcliffe. And so we had residents there that were talking about what their concerns were, and we were able to, it's back and forth. We learned some things from the residents about concerns that we were unaware of, and in return, they gave us some things that we did know about, and we were able to kind of give them some feedback on things we've already got in place to help work out some of their concerns.
Yeah, it seemed like they were pretty surprised that you already had data on their neighborhood, and they were very open to hearing about that. So that was number one. The second event is coming up on June 19th.
Yep, Saturday, June 19th, we're going to do it again. We're going to do it this time in Stottlemyre Park. The neighborhoods of focus are going to be the neighborhoods south of Annapolis to Van Born, in between Henry Ruff and Inkster. And we're going to, as we do these moving forward, we're going to try to pick a nice public spot for us to do them in one of our parks. So we're going to do this in Stottlemyre Park. We're encouraging the residents of that area to come and meet with us and again, bring us concerns that they have that they'd like us as a police department to be aware of. And we're going to try to get some information back to them on some safety tips and some things that we can do on what we've noticed as a police department.
Well, it should be a great day because that same day, my staff here, all my department heads are going to be pitching in and helping Kyle Mulligan, our Parks and Rec director, who we're going to be talking to in just a little bit about doing a major park cleanup that day at Stoudemire Park too. So there's going to be a lot going on at Stoudemire Park on the 19th.
Yep, I think it's going to be a great day. I think we're going to have some hot dogs out there too that day, and we'll try to make it fun for the community.
Well, great. So what time does that event start again?
At 10 o'clock.
Okay. All right, Chief. Well, let's talk, so as you're focusing more and more on community policing, and one of the complaints that you receive quite a bit is the traffic in the neighborhoods and the speeds. So you've taken a proactive approach to that. Can you talk a little bit about what you're doing?
Yep, so one of the things we try to do at the police department is we want to make sure that we're allocating our resources properly. Historically, we've ran a program that we call Selective Enforcement. What we do is we pull the data from different intersections that have the majority of the accidents within the city of Westland. And then from there, we place officers at those intersections within those intersections at the appropriate times to try to help reduce accidents, reduce injuries, and ultimately reduce fatalities. That's the most important thing for our city. So in addition to that, we get complaints in neighborhoods quite often about speeders, stop sign violations, and things like that. We were able to get a federal grant this past year, which allowed us to buy some radar trailers and what we call a speed spy. What the radar trailers do is they're clearly a visible deterrent. People see them, they slow down, and it helps remind our residents, hey, you got to slow down in the neighborhoods because this is the speed. What the speed spy does is a little different. It's inconspicuous, people don't see it, and yet it tracks all the data for us. It's going to track the number of cars that go down a street, the average speeds, the high speeds, the low speeds, the direction of travel, and then from there we can gather that information and we can allocate our resources to the neighborhoods at the proper times to try to keep people safe, try to keep the accidents and the speeders down.
Well, it's very visible, and it works, and I know that some people say, well, you put those trailers up, but the police aren't watching, and I can tell you that they do watch. The problem is, as a pedestrian or if you're a driver, you don't know when they're watching. And Chief, I know that you did this last year in a neighborhood, and I remember hearing that you wrote like 26 tickets just in one day, and you actually wrote a ticket to the resident that had called and asked for this for their son, actually. So I know a lot of times these speeders are actually the people that live in your neighborhood. So if we're going to be serious about trying to control the speed in the neighborhood, and you can see the police department is trying to be proactive, we have to count on our neighbors to abide by those signs. So, and you collect data from those. While you may not have an officer there that day, they're actually collecting data so that you can know how to handle that neighborhood in the future as well, doesn't it?
Well, you're absolutely right. If we pull our data and we found out that weekdays between 3 p.m. and 5 p.m. is when we have the majority of our speeders, in one particular neighborhood, well, then we know we're going to allocate our resources to that neighborhood during those times. And the same thing, whether it's a certain weekend that we're having speeders in a different neighborhood, that way we can put the right bodies in the right places at the right time. And like you said, you actually nailed it. The majority of neighborhood speeders are the people that live in the neighborhoods. And so we have to kind of work in partnership for them to know too that, hey, if we are in there writing tickets, we're going to probably be writing tickets to the people within your neighborhood. So we got to get everybody to slow down.
All right, Chief. Well, I appreciate that, and I know the residents do as well. So before we wrap up, I want to talk about fireworks because it's that time of the year again. We're about 30 days away from the 4th of July, and in Westland, I know that you've, in your time as Chief, you've really tried to take a proactive approach, and every year it gets harder and harder to manage fireworks. But can you talk a little bit about what your plans are for this year?
Yep, well, you're right. One of the biggest complaints we have this time of year is fireworks. And we want everyone to enjoy their holiday, and if they're going to use fireworks, we want to make sure they're using fireworks safely. But what we really want to do is just remind everyone what the ordinance is and remind our residents that we are going to strictly enforce the ordinance. The ordinance allows for fireworks to be used between June 29th and July 4th. July 5th this year is not on a Friday or Saturday, so it is not within the ordinance to use fireworks on that day. Fireworks are allowed to be used from 11 a.m. to 11:45 p.m. We are going to strictly be enforcing that. Fireworks being used after hours this year, we're going to be issuing tickets. We're going to be out there trying to make sure that we're keeping our veterans and our animals and everybody safe and still happy this year. So again, I'd just like to remind everyone, enjoy your holiday, but please make sure you're following the ordinance.
All right, and I understand the department is filming a public service announcement, which WLND is going to start airing as early as next week.
That's it. Lieutenant Wilkie has put together a public service announcement on that. We just want to keep pushing this information out to our residents to make sure that we're working together. And one last thing I'd like to mention too is some help from our residents is we often get calls about fireworks. If you can provide us, if you're going to call the police department about a firework complaint, it's really helpful that if you provide a specific address. We often will get calls about fireworks in the area of Ford and Wayne, and people don't realize how difficult it really is as a police officer to be driving in the area of Ford and Wayne and try to figure out where the fireworks are coming from. So as we work together, it's helpful if somebody is going to call to have a firework complaint or has an issue with a firework, to give us a specific address, and we'll make sure we're sending officers over there to address that specific house.
Well, it might be good news for us. I heard this morning that actually fireworks are they're kind of scarce this year, that most of them come from China, and that with the tariffs that are in place and with the problems with shipping, that a lot of the fireworks that are typically here by this time of the year haven't got here yet. So it means it's probably going to cost our residents a little bit more to buy the ones that are here already, but maybe with the shortage of fireworks, we'll have a little bit quieter holiday this year.
Yeah, I think we both agree. We want everyone to be safe, and we want everyone to be happy within the ordinance. So I hope for the best.
All right, Chief. Well, keep up the great work. We appreciate you taking a few minutes out of your busy schedule to join us here on In the W.
Well, thanks for having me, Mayor.
All right. Well, we're just getting started. We're going to be right back. We have a lot more coming to you today on In the W, so stay tuned.
Coming up next on In the W, Mayor Wow will be joined by Paul Motz to discuss the Wild About Youth Work Summer Jobs Program.
Hello, I'm Lieutenant Wilkie from the Westland Police Department with an important update regarding fireworks usage in the city of Westland. Michigan's Firework Safety Act was amended on December 28, 2018 to restrict the use of fireworks in the state and allow for local communities to better control the use of fireworks. The City Council adopted changes to our local ordinances to be in line with the state law. Under the old state law, the use of commercial-grade fireworks was lawful on days surrounding national holidays from 8 a.m. until 12 midnight. There were 30 days of the year in which commercial-grade fireworks could be used. Fines for igniting or using fireworks on prohibited days or times were $500. Under the adopted amendment to the city ordinance pertaining to the use of fireworks, the number of days and times allowed for fireworks has decreased. The number of days allowed for the use of fireworks is now 12. The new times for igniting fireworks in the city of Westland are from 11 a.m. until 11:45 p.m. The use of fireworks is permitted on the following days between 11 a.m. on December 31st and 1 a.m. on the immediately following January 1st. The Saturday and Sunday immediately preceding Memorial Day between 11 a.m. and 11:45 p.m. on each of those days. June 29th to July 4th between 11 a.m. and 11:45 on each of those days. July 5th between 11 a.m. and 11:45 p.m., but only if that date is a Friday or a Saturday. The Saturday and Sunday immediately preceding Labor Day between 11 a.m. and 11:45 on each of those days. Each violation can result in a civil infraction with a fine of $1,000. This issue has generated a significant amount of complaints among residents each year, particularly during the warmer months. This amendment is aimed to address and alleviate some of our fellow citizens' frustrations. Thank you for your time and cooperation in helping keeping Westland a great place to live.
Welcome back to In the W, and I'm Mayor William Wild. Our next guest today is going to be our Youth Assistance Director, Paul Motz. Paul, welcome to In the W, and man, doesn't it feel good to be back face to face and on the screen here today? So, how does it feel?
Mayor, it feels really good, and you know, since I've taken off my mask, I've only had one or two people say, "Hey, Paul, can you put that back on?"
Well, we were going to ask you to do that too, if you, as long as you have it with you, just for the people at home. We're just teasing you, Paul. So if anybody knows Paul, they know that we love Paul for his sense of humor, his jokes, but he really does a great job with the youth of the city of Westland. And Paul, this is the time of the year that we kick off one of my very favorite programs. It's called Wild About Youth Works, and this is the Mayor's Summer Jobs Program. And Paul, you and Aubrey Berman, our Economic Development Director, are the two directors that run this program for me every year. It's hard to believe it's been 13 years. And Paul, can you talk a little bit about what you have in mind for this year's program?
Sure, Mary. And one of the great things about this program, and I'm very grateful to be included every year in this in Denver. It's such an important aspect to kids. So this year, as all years, it's going to be a little different. Kids are applying online. They're just going to go visit cityofwestland.com,
Yep.
click on the Wild About Youth Works icon, and then fill out the student registration form, and click, and there's going to be a list of businesses that are hiring kids. So that's one of the things that's going to be a little different. So I am a little interested. 13 years, a long time. There's never been 2 years alike, Mayor. And I am curious. This was 2008. What made you start this program?
You know, when we do this program every year, in the past we did a big a banquet at the end, and I would stand up there and I would say, I think this is one of the best things we do every year. And when I think about why we started it, I think I go back to what my dad taught me as a young man, was that he taught me, and my dad didn't go to college. He was an entrepreneur that went into business for himself at a very young age. And the two things that he taught me was, he said, the two things I'm going to try to impart on you is a work ethic and financial literacy. He says, and you know, some of your friends are in high school and they're going to college, they're going to learn a lot of things, he says, but the things that they won't teach you are work ethic and financial literacy. And so at a very young age, it was actually, since my dad had his own business, you know, I started working for him for free, Dad, at about 5 years old. But the day that I turned 15, my dad took me in to get a work permit and told me that now's the time you got to go out and get a job and over the summer. And at the same time, he also took me to, it was the Wayne Westland Credit Union, and I opened up a savings account because he said, you're going to start earning money and you're going to start putting it in your bank. And I've had a bank account ever since, and I've been working ever since. So when I look at that, and I think that that's one of the things that we have to impart with our youth, and I try to do that with my children. My oldest, Luke, is going to be 19, and he works in the summer. And my daughter, Lily's 16, and she's in high school, but she works a couple nights a week. And what's nice with both of those is that I didn't have to ask them to get a job; they wanted to. So, Paul, do you remember what your first job was?
Well, Mayor, that would have been a really long time ago. Like you, I worked in a family business, but outside of a family business, it was a drugstore. And what I really like about this program is the life lessons that you can learn that can stick with you a lifetime. So, and it was always smile and say thank you, because I'm working in a drugstore. These people are paying your wages, and so you treat everyone as they're special, and that's really something you tend to carry on with you. Today we do the same thing. Some of the tips for kids: stay off your phones, show up on time, be there. Be courteous, stay focused, and try to learn. Ask questions. Business owners, they love to teach, and so ask and learn from them.
And I think the students this year, and it's important that we call them young adults. When we call them kids, I think that it's not fair to them anymore. They want to be young adults, and By them getting in this program, it shows that they're mature, maybe a little more mature than some of their peers. And Paul, I think this year we have the best opportunity for our youth to actually get jobs in the workforce, and probably better jobs than we could offer them in the past, because everywhere I go, the business owners tell me is that they cannot get employees. The other day, McDonald's on Warren and Wayne Road operated with 2 employees the whole day.
That's amazing.
So everybody needs employees, and they're reaching out to us, and we have more businesses than ever that are part of Wild About Youth Works. And this year it's easier than ever. All you have to do is go to the website, click on it, you'll see those businesses. And do they apply online, Paul, or do they reach out to the businesses to apply?
So once you pull up that list of businesses, they'll tell you whether either to come in or fill out your application online. So the directions will be in there for each of them.
All right, well, it's great, and we appreciate the partnership with the schools. They help us get the word out, and also with Fifth Third Bank, as Paul mentioned, they've been our financial support on this from the very beginning, and they do an incredible job about financial literacy, and they actually, with each of the students, if the students would like to, they can actually set up an account, do electronic deposits, and they're off and running with their own savings accounts. They teach them about saving. They teach them about, these are some of the things that you should be paying for with your own money, not your parents. And you got to save if you want certain things. And what's really nice is they also have a new point, and this is very popular. They started a couple years ago. They have another piece where they talk about entrepreneurship, and more as I talk to young adults, they don't want to work for people. They want to start their own business. They watch Shark Tank on TV with their parents, and they watch these YouTubers now that are making all this money, and they want to own their own business. And Fifth Third Bank is going to tell you how exactly you can do that, and it's easier than you think.
Right. James Allen has been incredible through the years, and just continued information for people. The technology today is really moving really quick, and our business communities through the years, Culver's has always been a great community partner. MGR, Cintas, so some really good jobs. Some new that Aubrey's helped recruit this year. There's a technology company, NC Servo, Northfield Manufacturing. I looked at it, Mayor. I'm not looking for a job, but I looked to see what they had to offer. They can pay $15 an hour, and you're going to learn some skills. The chiropractic, that was Mr. Huey, I think. He's small office, very professional. What a nice man. You can learn so many great skills. And then some of these jobs, why the business has changed, Mayor, sometimes they hire people, they like them, the kids like the job, the young adults like the job, and then they stick around for years and make a great career.
That's what we've seen. We've heard a lot of stories about students that actually started with Westland businesses. They did such a good job that the businesses actually helped them with their journey through college, so they could still, whenever they came back, they could work. And some of them are still working with the companies today. They started at the entry-level position through our Wild About Youth Works, and they're still working there. And Paul, like you said, there's a job for everybody, no matter if you want to do landscape work in the summer and spend your time out in the sun, or if you actually want to get technical and learn skills, we have a little bit of everything. And Paul, before we wrap up, I appreciate the time that you spend with our Westland youth, and this year has been tough on our youth. I mean, the last 2 years, our students are learning how to, they're finally getting back in class, but social interactions all been electronic. A lot of kids miss their proms, they miss their classes and stuff. So, Paul, I know that you've got your hands full on any given time with youth. This year is probably more than ever. So, in your opinion, how's that looking, and is there anything that our viewers could do to help?
Well, thank you, Mayor. It is, and as adults, we have different ways of coping with things. Things are always different when you're young adults and growing up through these changes. Kids can be very perceptive and pick up on their parents or people's worries. So a lot of our kids have missed out on a lot of social interaction. Some kids haven't, some young people haven't adapted to technology as well, or didn't get enough out of Zoom. There's a lot more anxiety and depression with young people. So we have more and more parents seeking help for their young people. And if you're asking what our residents can do, some people to help us out, we're going to be recruiting mentors, volunteer mentors. And it's not super demanding because it's usually just like once a week for an hour and a half or two. But there is a 16-hour training for people to go through to best relate to our young people. So what I'd ask them to do is call us up, Westland Youth Assistance. You can talk to me, 734-467-7904, because we love volunteers. We treat them really well. Some of the stuff is the most important things to kids. We had a guest speaker presentation where it was just young people who've went through our program to talk to other young people currently in the program. And some of the things they mentioned were park rangers and the summer employment program, and also the mentoring. So people's time is so important. So if you know somebody who would like to be a volunteer mentor, we'd love to send them our way, please.
All right, Paul, we appreciate it. So keep up the great work with Youth Assistance, and thank you for all your hard work on our Wild About Youth Works program. It's hard to believe it's been 13 years, but I appreciate that. And like Paul said, if you'd like to get involved with the Westland youth and you would have some time and you wanted to perhaps be a mentor, reach out to Youth Assistance, or you can call us here at the City of Westland. To learn more information, just go to cityofwestland.com.
After the break, Parks Director Kyle Mulligan will be here to talk about summer fun in the All-American City.
As someone who joined the workforce as a teenager and worked my way up to being a small business owner, I know the value of good work ethic and the important lessons you can learn from your first job. Hello, I'm Westland Mayor William Wild, and I'm inviting the young people of our city to take the first step to financial independence by joining the Wild About Youth Works program. For 13 years now, we've been connecting teens with Westland businesses to help them get their first summer job. Students aged 15 to 19 can sign up on our website today to start benefiting from the program. We'll be providing them with a list of employers who are committed to hiring young adults and guaranteeing them at least 16 hours a week with a fair wage. There's also an educational component involved. Our friends at Fifth Third Bank are providing free access to a digital financial education and entrepreneurship program. Between the online training and the practical lessons learned on the job, the leaders of tomorrow will pick up financial and professional skills that will last a lifetime. This is also a great opportunity for local businesses. With the shortage of workers that many companies are experiencing right now, this is a way to get in touch with young, energetic, tech-savvy employees who are willing to work and learn. So if you're a business looking to hire, or a teenager looking to take advantage of all that this program has to offer, go to cityofwestland.com and click on the Wild About Youth Works logo to get registered and get started. Hey, welcome back to In the W. We've had a great show so far. We sat down with the police chief, we sat down with youth assistants, and now we actually get to have some real fun. We sit down with our Parks and Recreation Director, Kyle Mulligan.
Yeah, how you doing, Mayor? Thanks for having us.
Great, Kyle. Welcome to the show, and Kyle's been our Parks and Rec Director for about 2 years. I told him it felt like 3. He says sometimes it feels like more. So
it does.
But you're doing a great job. We appreciate WLND has looped Kyle in, and now he's the face of Mission Green TV, so he's the guy that's giving you all those great recycling tips, and he's got a lot more coming. So that seems like you had a little bit of fun when you do that.
I love doing that. Yep, it's a good time. I appreciate you putting me on that.
Well, no problem. So Kyle, you get to work on all the fun stuff, and you just had a great opening weekend, Memorial Day weekend. The H2O zone was up and running, and the reports are coming in that everybody had a great time. And The weather wasn't exactly what you were hoping for, but this past weekend definitely made up for it. So parks look great. I know you still have plans. There's still more going to happen in the parks throughout the summer.
Yeah, absolutely. We're looking forward to it. Our park ranger program is up and running. So Tatton Park, Central City is fully staffed from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 7 days a week. And the splash pad is operating from 11 a.m. to 7. So we're really looking forward to the good weather and having those kids out there and enjoying the sunshine.
All right, so can you reserve pavilions yet at Tatton Park?
Yes, you can. Yep,
Okay.
you can call our Parks and Recreation office in order to get those reservations set.
Okay, and that's for pavilions all across the city and all the parks?
Correct. Yep, all pavilions in all 17 of our parks.
Okay. Now, when will residents be able to start renting rooms here at City Hall and some of our other buildings?
We have set a policy that we're going to be able to start renting rooms again at City Hall here and our other buildings in July. So after the 4th of July, we'll be able to have the community rooms and grand ballrooms available for rent. So we're looking forward to having the community back in the buildings.
Well, very nice. And the community's ready. I got to tell you, so we just had our second week of the farmers market, and you've done a great job of working with the chamber to get the farmers market ready for the season. And man, I couldn't believe how many people were out there. I was out there for opening day, and we had a WLND there, but the second week had even more people than the first week.
Yep, and there's a lot more coming. The chamber does a really good job of putting on additional events. There's a pet day coming up, kids day, so there's a lot of fun activities at the farmers market on those Thursdays throughout the summer. So.
Well, it's really taken off. And so when you talk about events, now you got some really fun events coming up. And when I said the community is ready to get back together, well, we mean that. So we've scheduled 2 community gatherings, and this is one of the things that I really missed that we weren't able to do last year, because in my time as mayor, I found is that the residents love these community gatherings, and we typically kicked off the summer and we ended the summer with great events, and that's exactly what our plans are for this year. So we're going to be kicking off the summer June 23rd, Central City Park, with our annual movie night.
Yep, absolutely, and we're looking forward to it. I know we had to cancel all of our events last year with all of the restrictions, so we know the community is excited about it. We are as well. And on June 23rd, we're going to have our outdoor movie night. Hot dogs, chips, water, all available for free. The splash pad will also be available to use at no charge through that day. As well as we're going to be showing the movie Onward starting at 7 o'clock. So we're going to have a lot of cool stuff going on at that event.
Well, that is a great event, and like Kyle said, this is a free event, so we'll have all the city department heads and officials out there making hot dogs, and we're going to have everything individually packaged up for you, so it's nice and easy. The governor has lifted all outdoor restrictions, so we expect a nice crowd that night. It's going to be a great movie. And how can you show a movie at 7 o'clock when the sun's still up? How do you do that?
So we work with a company called Parkit, and they come out and they have a technician on site, and they are able to play a movie on a large screen. So everybody will be placed in the grass. You guys can bring your own chairs, a blanket, or anything you want, and you'll be able to pop a squat and view the movie, and we'll have the popcorn ready for you guys when the movie begins. So. Well,
Kyle's the first one that actually said pop a squat on In the W, so we're going to remember that one. But like you said, it's a great event, and that screen that they use, it's the same type of stuff you see in Times Square in New York. So it's going to be super exciting. So once again, you bring your own stuff. If you want a blanket or you want chairs, you need to bring that with you.
Correct. Yep. Bring your own stuff. There'll be plenty of room in the grass to be spread out, social distance if needed. And we're looking forward to having the community out there, because I know this is something we were bummed about not having last year. So
the restrooms will be available that night as well.
Absolutely. Yep.
All right. So there you go. Free food, free entertainment. I'm going to kick in this year, and I'm going to buy popcorn for everybody. So hopefully our popcorn maker is charged up and ready to go.
It will be. It will be.
All right, so that's June 23rd. You can learn more about it on the cityofwestland.com. Follow the city on Facebook or just watch the WLND. But we also have another one coming up. It's been a couple years now, but we're going to go back to Corrado Park on the north side of town for another community gathering. Now, this one's not going to be a movie night. This one's going to be a focus on public safety, and we're going to have the police department's going to be out there with all their new equipment. The fire department will be there doing demonstrations. They'll have all their equipment as well. And this is the one that, people love checking out the police cars and the fire stuff, but the kids love the DPS equipment. They love they take you for rides in the front end loaders. You can sit on the backhoes and all that kind of stuff. That's the stuff the kids love.
Yeah, they do, and we're looking forward to it. So we'll have all of the fire trucks, police cruisers, DPS vehicles, all for the kids to be able to, get in, try it out, ask any questions needed, and then we'll also have some fun atmosphere. We're gonna have food as well, hot dogs, and then we'll also have some bounce houses for the kids as well to have a good time out there, try and get out of the heat.
All right, well, it sounds like a great night. So it's nice to see the equipment. We try to bring out all the new stuff that we've purchased because I tell the residents every year, this is your equipment, so come check it out. Come sit behind the wheels and make sure that we're spending your tax dollars wisely. And you'd mentioned the bounce houses. So this year you actually have a couple things lined up for the kids?
Yep, so our plan is to have a 38-foot obstacle course and then a large water slide as well. So we'll have a lot of availabilities for the kids to have a good time. So we're looking forward to it.
All right, so it's an outdoor event, so if we run into rain, we'll figure out an alternative date. If you haven't been to Corrado Park in a while, you're going to notice a couple things. First of all is the 3B's garden. Can you talk a little bit about that? And then we're going to be breaking ground on a new project here later this summer.
Yep. So the 3B's garden is run by a few of our community members in the Westland community, and they completely run this garden by themselves. They completely fund it, and they're able to offer up all of the learning items for kids as well. So if there's somebody who's interested in getting more information about native plants and all that kind of stuff, they can reach out to Joanne Schwab for the 3B's garden as well. So we're very lucky to have her available.
It's incredible. It started off as a butterfly garden, but now it's really blossomed into probably, when it's in bloom, one of the most beautiful places in the city. And we're going to be introducing a new form of recreation at Corrado Park.
Yep. We will, once the new fiscal year starts, we're going to be resurfacing the old tennis courts at Corrado Park and turning them into 4 pickleball courts. Pickleball is a fast-growing sport that can be played at all ages, and we're really looking forward to having that available, and we're really hoping that has a lot of interest because we know that a lot of people are interested in playing pickleball. So
we heard you. We have more people that have asked us about pickleball than anything else, and so the tennis courts there have always been underutilized, and then over the years we've tried to turn it into inline hockey and a couple other things, but I think those pickleball courts are going to be great, and if they're well received, we'll try to add those throughout the city. And probably the only thing that people have asked us for more than pickleball is a dog park. And this year when the budget hopefully goes through, and by the time you see this, hopefully the city council has voted yes in the budget, we have plans to create a new dog park on Marquette. So Kyle, I know you got all kinds of good stuff coming up.
we do, yeah, we're really excited. We know the residents have been asking about a dog park. It's kind of been in the pipeline for a while. And we're really looking forward to having this offering for Westland residents because we know, a lot of people are dog friendly. They want a place to be able to let their dog off the leash. And that's really, that's the main purpose of the dog park is to get their dog exercise and not have to, keep them on a leash like at all of our other parks.
All right, well, lots of good stuff. So I know that everybody, our young adults, as we called them earlier in the episode, will be getting out of school here soon. And I know parents are looking to get their kids active over the summer. And Westland is always something to do, baseball, football, soccer. Kyle, how should our residents at home, if they want to sign up for summer sports or even sign up for fall sports, what's the best way they can do that?
Yeah, if they go to cityofwestland.com and go to the Parks and Recreation page, there's a community partners section. We help a lot of local organizations with promotion, helping their attendance increase and getting those programs. So a lot of those offerings are on our website at cityofwestland.com for the community partners page.
All right, well, everybody's back and excited about a great summer, and we expect a great fall. So there's lots of activities. Check out cityofwestland.com. Check out the Parks and Recreation page. And Kyle, we're going to end on one more big tease. So I know that you've heard us talk about the potential of the city of Westland taking the vacant Marshall School and potentially turning it into a new recreation center. And I know this is right up Kyle's alley. He's chomping at the bit. We've talked about potentially partner with the YMCA and all of our other organizations. So Kyle, just imagine a 140,000 square foot building. It's got 2 gyms in it. It's got baseball fields. It's got tennis courts. It's got basketball courts, a track, football fields, soccer fields. I mean, it's everything a Parks and Recreation director could ask for.
Exactly, yep, and I'm excited about that possible opportunity. We're really looking forward to it. Like you said, I'm chomping at the bits, waiting to get going. I can't wait to get in there.
All right. Well, if it works, Kyle's going to have the biggest office in the city, 140,000 square foot. So you're going to have to start picking out things to hang on the wall.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Kyle, keep up the good work. We appreciate you wear a lot of different hats for the city, and you're a great guy and you do a good job. So thanks for spending a little bit of time with us in the W.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right. All right. Well, folks, that's our show for today. You can see we got lots of great stuff happening in the city of Westland, and that's what In the W is all about, is to put the spotlight on all the things that are happening so that we can help our residents at home be a little more involved with the city, and there's always stuff going on. So until we see you next time, have a safe summer, and I'm hoping to see you at these community gatherings that we talked about. So thanks for watching.